Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Kmart, and I want to talk about some basketball. And today we have, we have news about one of the biggest, most anticipated, I guess, trades of the off season. No, it's not Damian Lillard. Calm down, Miami fans. That's still not happening. The news is about the James Harden trade, or I suppose at this point it would be more appropriate to say the lack of a James Harden trade because if you did not see the news, Adrian Wojnarowski reported that the 76ers announced that they have ended all trade talks around James Harden. So effectively, they don't plan to trade him at any point, which was not what I think most people expected. They say they plan to bring him back, have him there for the start of training camp, and presumably the 76ers plan to have him for another, I was going to say title run, but they didn't really get as close as they wanted to in the first place, but another run with Harden and Joel Embiid at the helm here. So the reports over the offseason had been that the 76ers had talked with the Clippers a couple of times, but didn't really find the deal that they wanted. We kind of already knew that part, right? There had been no word whatsoever, not even really um, significant offers, just kind of rumors back and forth that neither team really wanted to budge here, which is unfortunate for James Harden because the Clippers were his preferred destination. He had specifically told the 76ers that that's a place that he wanted to go, and almost really the only place he wanted to go. I don't think they went quite that far, especially after the memo that was sent out after the Damian Lillard episode, but you know, he wanted to go play for the Clippers. And at this point, with the trade called off entirely, it's not even really clear if there were ever any significant talks with anyone other than the Clippers, right? Because we got so little news about his preferred destination for Harden. We got basically no news about anywhere that wasn't the Los Angeles Clippers. So now the situation gets really weird. The 76ers have said that they're not going to trade him, right? So Harden is still under contract for one more season. He opted into his player option for this year, originally with the intention of being traded, but now that he's not, he does still have one season left with the 76ers. But when everyone was originally anticipating that the trade would go through at some point, we were hearing a lot of talk about how Harden was basically done with the 76ers organization, with their sort of management, right? Reports from earlier in the offseason claimed that the relationship between Harden and the 76ers front office was basically untenable. Phrases like broken were used. I saw the one I liked, fractured beyond repair, was another one that was thrown around a couple of times, right? So they weren't really mincing words at this point. Harden was basically just expecting to be out the door and would never have to deal with the 76ers management again. So he was making it pretty clear that he was less than happy with them. But now he's not going to be traded. It's like that old joke, the person who like thinks they won the lottery absolutely shit talks all their coworkers, and then it turns out, they didn't win the lottery and you got to come back and everybody's just staring at you like you're stuck here. Because Harden is stuck. He still has to play out one more season. If he's not traded, he has to play for the 76ers, or he has to not report to camp, which is not good because then he's going to lose out on most, if not all, of his money for this season, and it's a lot of money that Harden is owed. So the 76ers are going to bring him back, and they just kind of expect Harden to play out the final year of his deal and try to help the 76ers make that run to, I mean, at this point, Eastern Conference Finals would be great for them, but obviously they are thinking that they're still a team in title contention. They believe that they still have a championship caliber roster if Harden is a part of it, but will Harden be a part of it? Physically, he will be there, right? If he doesn't hold out. But mentally, will he be in the right state to contribute to the 76ers? Will he be committed to actually helping Philadelphia win after everything that's happened in this offseason? I'm not 100% sure of that. Now, we've seen Harden pull something similar on some of his previous teams. He showed up to camp not in the best shape for an NBA athlete, at least. Of course, funniest thing about that was that he was out of shape and still playing better than a lot of the other guys on his team. But if Philly is serious about trying to make a championship run here in this final year of Harden's contract, they would want him 100% on board, not having to catch back up because he shows up to training camp not ready or overweight or whatever out of protest. So this one feels really strange. Philly basically spent all this time getting ready for Harden to leave, only to just kind of say, oops, just kidding. Now let's get ready for the season. Hope everybody is on the same page here after they really, I don't know if I want to say badmouthed Harden, but they did kind of dangle him out there while all these trade talks were going on. So if you're Philly, you're in an awkward spot, and especially if we pull the camera back a little bit, not literally, this angle's not changing, but if we pull the camera back metaphorically on the 76ers, we take a look at the offseason, this is now kind of disastrous. Yes, Harden is a fantastic player, and if he decides that he's not going to hold a grudge and he plays as hard as he can, the 76ers will be dangerous, right? Just like they were last year. They didn't make it to the finals, but they were a dangerous team. They were top 3, top 4 in the East, and they got to second or so round of the playoffs. That's still good. But what Philly did in anticipation of Harden being traded put them in a bad spot. They kind of let some guys go. They weren't overly aggressive in free agency, and a couple of their own guys ended up getting poached by other teams, and a lot of that sort of inaction stemmed from the fact that their focus was on trading James Harden. So now that's not even really a trade-off. The idea was we're going to pay less attention to free agency. We're going to pay less attention to losing 1 or 2 or 3 guys off of our bench to other teams because we're trying to focus on getting the maximum return for this James Harden trade, and that might be the benefit, right? We might lose some guys, but the guys that we'll get back for trading Harden away could plug some of the holes from the players that we're losing, except Harden's not being traded. So yes, you keep Harden. That is important. I'm not trying to downplay the impact of having Harden on your lineup, but now it means that you lost a couple of bench pieces effectively for nothing, right? So if you're the 76ers, you're a little bit weaker than you were before, but you have Harden again. You still have Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey's looking good, right? Tobias Harris still has 1 more year to live up to the 30+ million that he's being paid. So I'm not going to count the 76ers out here looking at the team on paper, but I am unbelievably concerned about what this team does mentally, right? Will Harden be 100%? Is Joel Embiid locked in here, right? Can he put all the criticism in the offseason? Can he put all the MVP debate between him and Jokic behind him and focus 100% on trying to get the 76ers where they want to be? Because I think that's going to be their hardest problem. Their problem is not necessarily going to be winning games talent-wise, because the 76ers are still scary. It's going to be a matter of, does Harden give it 100%, and can the team come together after a very awkward offseason, I guess would be the way to phrase it. But we shall see. That's really all that I had here. Just wanted to sort of get a quick one out because I was just kind of chilling on a Saturday and I get a notification that the Harden trade is dead. So, yeah. What do you think here? Do you think the 76ers, first and foremost, are serious about this? Do you think that the trade talks are actually fully over? Or is this some sort of negotiation tactic, perhaps from Philadelphia? Do you think that's legit or not? If this is legit and they don't plan on trading Harden, how do you think Harden does respond to it? Is he going to be mentally committed to the 76ers? Is he going to try and pull some, showing up overweight, protest stuff like he did with previous teams? And what do you think the 76ers chances are now with Harden back in the lineup? Do you think they go farther than they did last year? Do you think that this team did enough to improve in the offseason to avoid a similar sort of fate than what has befallen them the past couple of years here? But no matter what your opinion is, go ahead and share it, because the 76ers are going to probably now be one of the more interesting stories going into the season if they weren't already. So it's going to be some interesting stuff. Long story short, though, the James Harden trade is, for now at least, dead and buried. He will play for the 76ers in the upcoming season. So, thank you for sitting here and watching me ramble. Didn't really have even much of a script for this because I just saw the announcement like 45 minutes ago and decided to record something. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.